In this video, we go hands-on with this right here, the Logitech Crayon Stylus, an Apple Pencil alternative that was just made available to the general public. Let's take a look. So a few quick bullet points for the Crayon Stylus. It works with the 6th generation iPad, it uses Apple Pencil technology, it has that same fast responsiveness and supports tilt just like the Apple Pencil, and no pairing is needed. That means 6th generation iPad users get an instant connection to their tablets when you power on the Logitech Crayon. So, as you'll see in this video, although the Crayon is based on Apple Pencil technology, there are quite a few differences between this device and the Apple Pencil. So inside you get some documentation telling you how to use the device, how to turn it on, how to power it on, how to charge it. And then on the opposite side, you get sort of a little, I don't know, it's like a coloring book, sort of a play on the word crayon, a coloring book, you get it. And of course you get the same regulatory information that you get with pretty much any tech device these days. All right, so here it is, folks, the Logitech Crayon. And it is very, very obvious that design-wise, build quality-wise, it is very much different than the Apple Pencil. You get this removable cap at the top that covers up the lightning port. That's a female lightning connector for charging. And then you have the tip there. The tip does look like a normal Apple Pencil tip at the very end, but you also have this little orange portion that actually serves as a way to protect the tip from removal. Of course, this is intended for classrooms initially, so there's a special tool that Logitech offers that allows you to remove that little orange piece to access the tip when you need to replace it. There's also a little LED indicator, so if you press and hold on the power button, that will turn on the device, and then you can press on the power button once to get a status of the battery life. So if you have a green LED, you have over 10% battery life. If you have a red LED, less than 10%. And if you have a flashing red LED, you have less than 5% battery life. Now, one thing that I noticed pretty much right off the bat is that I find the Logitech Crayon to be more comfortable to hold than the Apple Pencil. Now, obviously that's going to vary between users, but I really like that flat design because it makes it easier to keep your hand in contact with the stylus. So let's compare design and build quality. You can see the obvious differences. The Apple Pencil is a little bit taller. Of course, it's round. It's completely cylindrical, whereas you get that flat portion on the Logitech Crayon, and that means that it's not going to roll as easy. Even though the Apple Pencil is weighted so as to not roll off your desk, it's still more susceptible to rolling than the Logitech Crayon. And then you also have charging, which is really interesting because the Apple Pencil has that male lightning connector that plugs right into your iPad, whereas the Logitech Crayon has that female lightning port, so you can just use a normal lightning cable to charge the Crayon. And the tips, obviously fairly the same, but as I touched on earlier, you actually need a special tool to remove the tip on the Crayon. And again, this is created for K-12 environments, so they wanted to make the Crayon as robust as possible. Now here's one of the biggest differences between the Apple Pencil and the Crayon. The Crayon only works with the 6th generation iPad. Yes, the $329 iPad, the Crayon only works with it. It will not work with the iPad Pro at all. So that's a downside, right? Obviously. The Apple Pencil, on the other hand, works with all eligible iPads. That includes the 6th generation iPad, and that includes, of course, all the iPad Pro models. So something to consider for sure if you ever plan on upgrading to a Pro. Now here's the other big thing, no pairing, so you get instant connectivity. That's one of the benefits. So you just press the power button like that, and it's on. You see the little LED indicator, and now you can just start using it just like that. So no plugging it in, no Bluetooth pairing or any of that. It just works just like that. And that's really nice because sometimes the Apple Pencil pairing process is a little bit fiddly, a little bit unresponsive. So this makes it easy. Now, one of the things that both the Apple Pencil and the Logitech Crayon have in common is that they both support tilt functionality. So you're going to be able to tilt the Logitech Crayon and get thicker lines, depending on the app you're using, of course, if it supports tilt. So you just tilt like that and get thicker lines just like that. But it's not all good news because the Logitech Crayon lacks pressure sensitivity. Pressure sensitivity, as you can see here, I'm just lightly drawing on the surface of the iPad and you can barely see the lines, but they are there. Pressure sensitivity gives you more artistic options. So when you press in on the screen, you get a heavier stroke, and that really mimics how it is when you're drawing with physical items like a pencil. The harder you press, the darker the line's gonna be. And this is a major selling point for the Apple Pencil, having that pressure sensitivity. It really does separate the Apple Pencil from the Logitech Crayon from a creative, from an artistic perspective. And in some apps, this is just so much more apparent. Like for instance, Procreate, you can see the difference between those two strokes. I mean, it is night and day. That pressure sensitivity really stands out just like that. Now in a second, I'll compare the Logitech Crayon and show you the difference here. But briefly, let's talk about other things that you would use a stylus for. Obviously, drawing applications, paint applications, things of that nature. But there's also a whole nother world where stylus input can be very helpful, such as annotations or highlighting, such as in iBooks right here. So you can easily highlight, make annotations in other apps like GoodNotes, or even the Pages app now has annotation ability, and the Apple Pencil or the Logitech Crayon is very useful for those things. So if I grab my Logitech Crayon, I can show you how easy it is to highlight just like you could with the Apple Pencil. Pretty much no difference there. And the same thing can be said for annotations. You're going to be able to use annotations in Pages and any other app that allows you to do that. And for people that just use apps like that, annotation apps, highlighting apps, the Logitech Crayon is going to be perfect for that. It's going to be cheaper at $69 versus the Apple Pencil. However, if you're an artist and you use apps like Procreate, it is all or nothing. There is no pressure sensitivity, and actually Procreate doesn't really play that nice with the Logitech Crayon thus far. I imagine it'll be updated to better support the Crayon in the future. And here in Linea, you see it has tilt support, but you get all or nothing when it comes to pressure sensitivity, so you get that heavy stroke always, unless you change the stroke itself within the app. So that is the difference between these two devices. The Logitech Crayon, better for annotations. The Apple Pencil, better for art. Get the Logitech Crayon if you want to save some money and you don't use any sort of artistic apps, or you just use them for fun or for a hobby. Get the Apple Pencil if you're serious about art, you're serious about creating. The Apple Pencil is just a better product in that regard. But if you just do annotation, note-taking, things like that, I really like the Logitech Crayon because it's cheaper, it has a power button built into it, you get that instant pairing, but as of now at least, it's only compatible with the 6th generation iPad. But I think it makes sense to assume that the Crayon may be compatible with new iPad Pros released later this year. So definitely keep that in mind. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments section. This is Jeff with 9 to 5 Mac.